Well, up next, we bring you Business Week interview.
We've been on discussions as regards REITs in the last 10 years. As a matter of fact, I was part of the few people that started writing papers on REITs, whether it's REITs or it's REICO and whatnot. But we'll keep talking about it. I mean, we don't have to stop talking. It helps us to bear in mind that it's something we have to do and we have to get done really quick. The whole housing market, as it were, in terms of building and creating houses for people, is a little bit complicated. There are so many impediments surrounding it, and if you weigh the buts and the yes, you realize that there are too many buts. The real question is, how then do you address all of the buts surrounding the housing development in Nigeria, as it were? We need to localize the housing market. We are too Western or European in our thinking. We are bringing models that will not work for Nigeria. The truth is, in terms of peculiarity, Nigeria is a peculiar country, and we need to understand that first and foremost, and sit ourselves and say, yes, it might have worked in America, in Kenya, in other parts of the Western world, but in the real sense, what is the peculiarity in Nigeria? What exactly is our mortgage financing sector? How are we structured? A lot of things have come to play. At some point, NMLT was introduced. At some point, FBA was introduced. But the real thing is there mortgage financing in Nigeria, or is just finance bridge, typically? So, well, first and foremost, pre-1979, it was all good. But then again, the Land Use Act came into play, and all of the lands will have to be given back to the government after 99 years, lease free lease hold. I have not seen anybody yet that has fully exhausted the 99 years free lease hold. Anybody who was born at 79 will probably be 38 years as of today. So we are all waiting, fingers crossed, to start with. Is anybody thinking about what happens at the end of 99 years? Say, for instance, you have invested about, say, $10 billion in real estate investment markets, for instance, and have built thousands of houses. On the dot of the 99 years, what happens? If you have a government who says it's not renewable, then how does it end? So really, we need to sit down again and look at all of these policies surrounding the real estate market, as it were. Mortgage business is not a typical investment kind of business where you have a core investor who's got like say $1 million to invest and says, I want my money back in 10 months, in 1 year. Real estate business is not a 1 year or 2 years business. It's where you have people that are able to set aside some percentage of their portfolio mix to say, this portion will go into financial real estate for the next 15-20 years. That way, there'll be a proper match, because what we find right here is a mismatch. So typically, the way finance works is that you take from the surplus and you put in the deficit. So you walk into the bank, you deposit your money, and you can walk in and take it at any point in time. So if anybody wants to really do mortgages, what it means is that you are depositing like the money you can take out in a month to finance a mortgage that will take about 15 years. So there's a gap. So the real question is, where would the right funding come from? It starts with individuals. It starts with the big players in the market. It also goes through to the government as well. So a policy has to be set aside. Typical of how you have the proper accounting of any company would say is, at the end of the year, we have profit, we have retained earnings, we have certain amount to set aside to continue to run the business, we have share equity and whatnot. So we all need to challenge ourselves as real estate companies and say to ourselves and say, we have to set up that pot and say, could it be a policy that for as long as you are going to be a player in the real estate market, you need to set aside, it could be 5%, it could be 30% of whatever it is you earn, or from your volume of transactions at the end of the year, to be able to finance these long-term real estate funds. We could channel it through the construction part or through the mortgage financing part. I think it might be a way forward, really. Say, for instance, in Kenya, some people use the back of the beams, the shaft from beams, as part of raw materials to build houses. We still fixed on brick and mortar in Nigeria. So it's a major challenge. People have brought more modular houses to Nigeria, but accessibility is a problem. So we have to look for alternative ways to be able to create this product around ourselves. In America, for instance, you find wood houses everywhere. People live in these houses. They are beamed with wood. But people live in these houses. We travel abroad and they always live in this house without even complaining. But if anybody built houses here with wood for you, just want to buy it. So then the question, what's the real problem? What is it that we cannot really address here?